Everyone who's ever gone swimming in Minecraft knows this struggle. You stay underwater too long, you start drowning, and then, well, you die. Eventually, you figure out the normal ways to survive and breathe underwater, like wearing a turtle shell helmet, enchanting with Respiration 3, or brewing a potion of water breathing. And if you're feeling extra fancy, you might even build a conduit. But what if I told you that you don't need to do any of that? Well, here are 13 unusual ways to breathe underwater in Minecraft. Let's start with my personal favorite, the banner. You know all those pillager banners you've hoarded from raids and outposts? It turns out they actually have a use. Placing a banner on the floor underwater creates an air pocket you can swim into. But if you place it on a wall, the air pocket is even higher, making it super easy to step or swim right in. Who knew banners were the secret to deep sea survival? The next one's a bit more well known. Doors create 2 blocks of air, letting you stand comfortably while catching your breath. The only downside is that it can't be placed on the sides of blocks, only on the floor. But still, if you've got a door and a floor, you've got air. Here's one you may not know about. Placing a brew stand underwater creates just enough space to cram your face in and breathe. Maybe it's the awkward shape, or maybe Mojang just forgot to make it fully waterlogged. This is probably not the most comfortable choice, but hey, it works. If you happen to have a stack of torches, another way you can stay alive is spamming them where you are. Spamming torches underwater briefly removes the water block, giving you just enough time to refill your breath bar. And it's not just torches. Buttons, levers, and any placeable item that water instantly breaks works the same way. Just be careful though, because if you're underwater, these items tend to float away, just like your hopes and dreams. And then you have to swim back to the surface to get them anyway, so it kinda defeats the purpose. Speaking of things you can spam, a water bucket does the exact same thing. It temporarily removes the water block, allowing you to catch a quick breath. Your fingers may get tired from spamming, but at least you won't lose your hardcore world. Just like a door, the gate removes the water source, allowing you to go in and breathe. If you only place one, you'll have to swim to get inside it and use it. But if you place 2, then you're pretty much doing the same thing as a door does. Unlike doors, you can stack them up on top of each other. So if you really wanted to, you could create larger areas of air underneath the water. Have you ever looked at a daylight detector and thought, I bet that thing holds air underwater? No? Well, surprise, it does. The daylight detector isn't a full block, so when you place it underwater, it leaves plenty of room for air. Probably not the best choice, but if you happen to randomly have one and you're about to drown, technically it would save your life. Putting your bed underwater isn't just a good way to completely hide your base from people, it actually gives you a way to breathe underwater as well. Similar to the daylight detector, it creates half a block of air. It's a little awkward to swim into it, but once you do, it works. Also, fun fact, if you do it at night, you can actually sleep in your bed underwater, and that gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, sleeping with the fishes. Pressure plates seem obvious. They're thin, but take up a full block of space, leaving plenty of room to breathe. But just be warned, when you swim into one, it tries to make you stand up, which can be very annoying. But if you get your head in just the right spot, it works just fine. A lot of you may have discovered this next one by accident, but if you're ever dragged down by a magma block underwater, don't panic. It's actually helping you, not hurting you. Magma blocks create air pockets, so instead of fighting to escape, just press the sneak button on top of them and enjoy a free breath of fresh air. This is a pretty easy block to just take with you if you're going underwater exploring. This next one is so unpractical, it's hilarious. But if you place a piston and power it with a redstone block, it pushes the water away, creating an air pocket. Sure, it works, but of all the things that you could carry underwater, why would you ever bring redstone and pistons? But still, if you ever find yourself drowning with a handful of redstone and a piston, now you at least know what to do. I know you're never going to use it, but at least now you know that this works. Have you ever been drowning and about to lose your hardcore world and thought, man, I wish I had a grindstone right now to save me? Probably not, but placing a grindstone underwater creates the tiniest air pocket at its base. If you manage to squeeze underneath it, you can actually breathe. I guess if you were trying to loot tridents and needed a way to combine all the broken durability into one new one, you may have a grindstone underwater. Other than that, I'm guessing you'll never be in this scenario. But if somehow you find yourself in it, this technically works. And for the all-time most unusual ways to breathe underwater, this one takes the cake, literally. The cake is like the others, that when placed underwater removes the water block and gives a small pocket of air. But let's be real, the only reason you'd ever do this is if you were throwing an underwater birthday party with the dolphins. But just remember not to eat all of it, because when you do, your air pocket disappears. So unless you plan on bringing an inventory full of cakes, there are much better options. But there you have it, the most unusual ways to breathe underwater. Some of these are absolutely useless, while others are actually quite practical. If you learned something today, make sure to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more awesome Minecraft content.